Hi, I'm Ellen Horan, President and CEO at the Greater Reading Chamber, and I'm here for this week's Member Moment with Tracy and Bill Smith, who are co-owners of Ridgewood Wineries. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for coming here. So you guys, this winery is fairly new, started in only 2013. How did you get in the business?
I got kicked out of the house.
Oh, do tell.
Well, not quite that literally, but I was making the wines at home for about 8 or 9 years, and then she decided that perhaps we should look into getting it, go commercial with it.
Okay.
And we got prompted by a couple of friends of ours that asked us to do amateur contests in the state of Pennsylvania. So when we finally decided and gave in to do that, which wasn't something that I really wanted to do because it was supposed to be just a hobby. But once we got into it, we in 2 years' time, we had 24 awards from the state, including 2 grand champions.
Congratulations.
So we thought that perhaps we could actually do this then after that, and then she decided that the only way we could do this is if we had a place that was a decent commute from the house, had to have character, and
the first one was not in my house.
And it had to get out of the house. So that's the
that was
that's
key.
the out
That
of
was
the
number
house
one.
portion.
So
of it.
she really was kicking you out of
I
the
was.
house.
Yeah,
So.
well, not me necessarily, just the wine
Just
that
the
she
wine.
wanted out, because we had it all over the house, literally all over the house.
Everywhere.
Okay, before we proceed with the story, let me ask you this. Hindsight, you said that wasn't your thought of how you should proceed in doing the contests or the fairs.
Well, it was.
Hindsight, is that a way? If someone is a winemaker or
Oh,
a craft
absolutely.
beer maker, is that a good
Yeah,
way
absolutely. It's a
build your
a
brand?
fantastic way to get out
Okay.
there and be seen. And in some ways, we used it more of a marketing tool, where you ended up finding out what other people were doing and how you ranked against everybody else.
That makes
now,
sense.
It's a different world when you change from a hobby and an amateur status to the commercial. But it's a whole lot easier once you already have a decent idea of what your marketplace is. And the Berks County area actually, from our little bit of experiences before, was a fantastic place to get started because Chamber of Commerce helped us a lot. We had a lot of small businesses, not to mention the wineries that helped us up and down the East Coast as far as giving us information on how to operate the business and how to work within the system as far as the Pennsylvania state or the federal government. But the networking events that take place up here is just a world of difference between the area that we live in, where it's
Which is?
Lancaster County.
Okay.
They don't seem to do as much of this where you get out and meet people and get an understanding for what other people have run into and what other people are doing, and you get a very good concept of how to interact with the other businesses that can either work side by side with you or help you out in whatever you need around your facility.
Okay. So now, once you needed to find a new place to be running the business, you actually found a really cool property, and that is here in Berks County,
Yes.
correct? So why don't you tell us a little bit about that property?
Fire away.
So I was looking around for a place, something close to home, but really not. I wanted to get out of the house and go to work, and came across an abandoned property. It's the Ridgewood Farmstead. It's on the National Historic Registry. It was abandoned when we found it. It needed renovations. Looking at everything, a lot of updating. Location seemed to be right. And square footage is perfect.
Tell the members where the winery is, the location.
2309 Philadelphia Avenue in Birdsboro. Really outside of Birdsboro, closer to Reading, right off of 176 and 422 interchange.
Right.
And it is an old historic building that there's a lot more history than we even could imagine.
Right. So it not only was conducive for you to have a place to make the wine, but you can also hold events there.
Do a lot of events.
Right.
Yes.
Yep. And the way it looks now, one of the larger mistakes I made as a business owner was when I worked with my attorney staff and my CPA, and you get an inventory that's about ready to go, and they say, hey, once you get to this level of inventory for a retail value, go ahead and open the doors and get started. And once I got there, I turned to her and I said, all right, I got the wine, you get the events. Time for you to go to work. Boy, was that a mistake. Because I don't have any time off the rest of this year now.
Good job.
Told me to do events. I'm doing events.
We have events that run in conjunction with Genesius Theater. They're doing a number of things there, and we have maybe a 3-week time period that they're not going to be there the rest of this fall. And then we're a big supporter of that, and they're going to be out there doing murder mysteries and the Charles Dickens trolley, Christmas Carol trolley.
Okay.
That runs through December, starts in late November, runs through December.
And how can people register for those?
On our website.
Via your website?
Yep, Ridgewoodwinery.com. All the information's there.
Okay, so murder mysteries, and isn't there some ghost?
Toast to the Ghost.
We do
Toast to the Ghost.
With Britton Lodge, and so
Christmas
it's the wine
Carol
and beer,
trolley.
you know.
Okay.
Yes.
Very
So
good.
we're doing a lot of stuff.
So outside of the events, how are you distributing your wine? What's your
At this
distribution
point, we
chain?
still have everything as retail.
Okay.
We do have a couple of very small wholesaling customers. There's been a number of places in Reading that are interested in carrying our products as well. Our biggest problem right now is when you transition like I have from the hobby into the profession, you don't know, no one can ever tell me, no matter how big a winery is, you can never tell how much product you need to serve an area.
Okay.
So we're kind of looking at it right now as that stock market graph that continues to rise. At some point it'll level off, but we haven't gotten there yet. So our biggest issue is actually turning production around fast enough to keep up. Okay. Last year I made about 1,500 gallons in a shortened year of wine products that we reported. This year I'll make over 10,000.
Wow. Very good.
And it's still going to be a difficult thing to try to keep up. We likely aren't going to be able to keep all the shelves full of all the stuff that we need to have.
Now, at your facility, you can also host weddings and
We do weddings,
maybe
rehearsal
bridal
dinners,
showers,
baby
baby
Absolutely.
showers.
It's huge,
Absolutely.
huge
How about
draw.
Christmas parties? Would that be good?
We
for...
do private
Yep.
Christmas parties, we
Okay.
do corporate events, we do a lot of networking events, we do all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So,
And I know we've had recently a Family Business Alliance
Yes, we did.
gathering there.
networking.
Great. Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
Very good. Talk to us a little bit about family business. Now, you are working together
Yes.
as a business. How is that
Yes.
going?
It has its good days.
Maybe it would help
Any
if
married couple will tell you.
Tracy shared that she's not a drinker at all, so
Yes, I don't
maybe
drink at all.
things would go a little more
Right.
smoothly. If you could discuss these issues over the product.
Well, Bill makes all the wine. I do all the events. I run the property. I do the staffing. So it's kind of it's separated, but actually it's not.
Yeah.
Because I can do all events I want without the wine.
Right.
It doesn't, it doesn't
Right.
correlate. So it feels like you need
it's
wine.
really feeding one off the
This one
other.
off.
So
together.
is it still just the two of you?
Yes.
As far as the full-time employment, yeah, we have about 8 people that work for us on a part-time basis as
Okay.
well, that staff the bars and restock, and then special events they work just to be able to keep the place under control and keep everybody happy.
Yeah.
So your biggest challenges right now are keeping inventory
Yep.
going and deciding where that growth mark
Yep.
maybe
Yes.
will.
Yeah, and
plateau,
I mean
or-
it's and it doesn't matter what business you're operating. You're
Yeah.
always going to be looking at it from an inventory versus cash outlay type of thing. And realistically, we're balancing all that out very well, and we're seeing that based on the number of clients that are coming in, it continues to keep on growing. Most of our stuff is advertised by word of mouth. It's a very nice way of doing things. If you have a nice product and you have a nice location and people are happy with it, they're always coming out and they're always bringing somebody different.
Yeah.
And because of that, it makes it very difficult to know where that cap is going to lie as far as what you have to have in inventory. But lucky for us, good for us, we have good products. We get very few times does somebody ever tell us that they didn't care for this or didn't care for that. It's usually more of, I don't know which ones to pick.
Right.
But that being said, keeping control of the inventory is the toughest thing that I've had to do so far.
Okay.
Even working with the feds and the state isn't as difficult as trying to keep a handle on that inventory.
Okay. Very good. Well, thank you very much for coming out this week and for being a member of the Chamber. And for our members, take a look at the Ridgewood Winery website and check out the fall events that they have coming up, Christmas events coming up, and perhaps consider it as a cool place to host a Christmas party. So thank you very much for coming
Thanks
out
for
today
having
and
us.
Thank
sharing
you.
your story.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.